And hello everyone, welcome back to The Decap. Now today I had a very interesting idea. I thought it'd be fun, and so we're taking what I think would be the all-time teams and having of the Big Ten, of all the Big Ten teams, the 14 Big Ten teams, and having them do a head-to-head tournament. And before we get started, I just would like to let you know that the predictions will be made based on how the players did in college and the NBA, so not just college. And also, there will only be 6 players included in the predictions. There will be a starting 5 and a 6-man, and the best players at that position in the NBA and college combined. And what I think, the seeding is based on the number of Big Ten regular season championships, and all 14 teams are in play. And for the first round, the top 2 teams, or the 2 teams with the most regular season championships, get a bye. Now let's get right into this, with the first round being number 3 seeded Wisconsin versus the number 14 seeded Rutgers. In Wisconsin, starting 5 is Devin Harris, Michael Finley, Sam Decker, Frank Kaminsky, Ethan Happ, and John Lure. Well, John Lure's the 6th man. Rutgers, point guard Eddie Jordan, shooting guard Bob Lloyd, small forward Phil Sellers, power forward Roy Hinson, center James Bailey, with the 6th man of Quincy Douby. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know a single person. I don't know a single one of those names on Rutgers. I know Devin Harris, Michael Finley. I know all of Wisconsin. So, in Wisconsin, Devin Harris had a good NBA career. Sam Decker, Frank Kaminsky were great in college. They won a championship, or they didn't win the championship, but they went to the finals, right, against Duke. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but Ethan Happ has been a beast the past couple years, and I just think Wisconsin gets this dub and moves on to the second round. Now, the second game of the first round is the number 4 seeded Ohio State versus number 13 seeded Nebraska, with point guard for Ohio State, point guard Mike Conley, shooting guard John Havlicek, small forward Michael Redd, power forward Jerry Lucas, center Greg Oden, and the 6th man being D'Angelo Russell, with the 13 seeded Nebraska's lineup looking like point guard Tyronn Lue, shooting guard Eric Piatkowski, correct me if I butchered that, small forward Isaiah Roby, power forward Mickey Moore, center Dave Hoppin, and 6th man Stu Lance. Now, once again, I only know 2 players on Nebraska, Tyronn Lue, Isaiah Roby, and just that team isn't nearly as talented as Ohio State, and Ohio State takes this one easily. Now, for the third game of the first round, we have 5th seeded Illinois versus 12th seeded Penn State. Illinois, we have Darren Williams, D. Brown, Eddie Johnson, Nick Weatherspoon, center James Augustine, and the 6th man being Derek Harper. For number 12 seeded Penn State, we have point guard Tim Frazier, shooting guard Bob Weiss, small forward Jesse Arnell, power forward Frank Burkowski, center Calvin Booth, with the 6th man being John Amiachi. I don't know how to pronounce that. But this game, both teams aren't really talented. Once again, I only know a couple players. I know Darren Williams. I know Eddie Johnson. I know Derek Harper from Illinois. I know Tim Frazier and Bob Weiss from Penn State. And apparently Jesse Arnell, he was great in college, but then he played baseball or something, and then he went to fight in a war, or maybe not fight in a war, but just he did some service time, so he couldn't finish his NBA career. But these teams aren't totally talented, but just the star power of Darren Williams will carry Illinois to the win. In the fourth game in the first round, with the 6th seeded Michigan State versus the 11th seeded Maryland Terrapins, point guard Magic Johnson, shooting guard Mateen Cleaves. He's a point guard, but I thought the guard duo would be fine. Small forward Jason Richardson, power forward Zach Randolph, and center Draymond Green. A very small ball lineup, but Draymond Green can play center, with the 6th man of Michigan State being Cassius Winston. Now, for 11th seeded Maryland, we have point guard Steve Francis, shooting guard Juan Dixon, small forward Albert King, power forward Buck Williams, center Alex Len, and the 6th man being Joe Smith. Now, I think Michigan State would win this one with ease. Magic Johnson, a great player, would carry them. Draymond Green, great player. Just Michigan State is stacked. Them and Ohio State are definitely the best team so far. And Maryland isn't very good. They have Steve Francis, who was decent in college and in the NBA. Albert King was decent in the NBA and college. But that team just isn't very good all around, so Michigan State wins this one. Now, for the fifth game in the first round, we have number 7 seeded Michigan versus the number 10 seeded Northwestern. Of Michigan, the point guard being Jalen Rose, shooting guard Jamal Crawford, small forward Glenn Rice, power forward Juwan Howard, center Chris Webber, and the sixth man Rudy Tomjanovich, I think it is. And for number 10 seed Northwestern, we have point guard Bryant McIntosh, shooting guard Billy McKinney, small forward Max Morris, power forward John Scherna, center Evan Eschmeyer, and sixth man Don Adams. Now, once again, I think I only know Bryant McIntosh from Northwestern, and Michigan is also very stacked, so Michigan takes this one with ease. Now, moving on to the last game of the first round, we have number 8 Iowa versus number 9 Minnesota. Now, for Iowa, we have point guard B.J. Armstrong, who is from The Last Dance. You probably recognize his name. He was a point guard with Michael Jordan. Shooting guard Fred Brown, small forward Don Nelson, power forward Reggie Evans, center Luka Garza, the current center, and sixth man Ronnie Lester. For Minnesota, we have point guard Archie Clark, shooting guard Bobby Jackson, small forward Lou Hudson, power forward Kevin McHale, center Michael Thompson, maybe, sixth man Ray Williams. And I don't know many of these players. I know B.J. Armstrong, I know Luka Garza, I know Lou Hudson, Kevin McHale, and the Lou Hudson-Kevin McHale duo is just going to be too good for Iowa, and Minnesota moves on with the first upset of the first round in the last game of the first round. Now moving on to the second round, we have Purdue plays their first game out of the bye. And so number 1 Purdue versus number 9 Minnesota. We have point guard for Purdue, Rick Mount, shooting guard Terry Dischinger, small forward Glenn Robinson, power forward Brian Cardinal, center Joe Barry Carroll, sixth man Brad Miller. And of Minnesota, point guard Archie Clark, shooting guard Bobby Jackson, small forward Lou Hudson, power forward Kevin McHale, center Michael Thompson, and sixth man Ray Williams. Now, Purdue, for being the number 1 seed, aren't very good. They have Glenn Robinson. That's about it. Number 9 Minnesota wins this one again behind the duo of Lou Hudson and Kevin McHale. Now, the second game of the second round is a loaded one. Number 2 Indiana versus the number 7 Michigan. Point guard Isaiah Thomas for Indiana, shooting guard Victor Oladipo, small forward Dick Van Arsdale, power forward George McGinnis, center Walt Bellamy, is that how you pronounce it? Sixth man Eric Gordon. Now, of number 7 Michigan, we have point guard Jalen Rose, shooting guard Jamal Crawford, small forward Glenn Rice, power forward Juwan Howard, center Chris Webber, with his sixth man Rudy Tomjanovich. Now, this was a really hard matchup to pick, but I went with the better point guard of the Isaiah Thomas-Jalen Rose duel, and I had Indiana moving on. They also have Walt Bellamy. I think I will go Bellamy. He's a Hall of Famer. Chris Webber is not yet, so Walt Bellamy would win that center matchup. I think Jamal Crawford, Victor Oladipo they're maybe tied even in these if we're doing matchup. Indiana probably is the better sixth man, and small forward, power forward, I would probably go maybe Michigan with Glenn Rice. But I think just overall, Indiana kind of has that better team. In a close matchup, they will move on. Now third game of the second round. We have the number 3 seeded Wisconsin Badgers versus the number 6 seeded Michigan State Spartans. And for Wisconsin, the point guard's Devin Harris, shooting guard Michael Finley, small forward Sam Decker, power forward Frank Kaminsky, center Ethan Happ, sixth man John Lure, and the Michigan State Magic Johnson, Mateen Cleaves, Jason Richardson, Zach Randolph, Draymond Green, Cassius Winston. And I think Michigan State would kind of win this one with ease, as they are definitely the better team. Wisconsin isn't a very good 3 seed, and Michigan State moves on. Now, the last game of the second round, we have Ohio State versus Illinois. Ohio State, they have Mike Conley, John Havlicek, Michael Redd, Jerry Lucas. Illinois has Darren Williams, Eddie Johnson, Derek Harper. I don't want to keep repeating, as you already know the teams. But this one, I think it's a pretty easy matchup for Ohio State, and they will move on with ease. Now, moving on to the third round, the semifinals, we have Ohio State versus Minnesota. Ohio State, as I said, has a great trio of John Havlicek, Michael Redd, Jerry Lewis. Minnesota has a great duo of Lou Hudson, Kevin McHale, but the trio beats the two in this scenario, and Ohio State moves on to the finals. Now, I would say a great matchup here. Indiana, Michigan State both have elite point guards, good shooting guards, good small forwards, good power forwards, good centers. Draymond Green's a little undersized. Good 6 men. Now, if we're saying the point guard battle, Magic Johnson wins that. Shooting guard, you got to put into play NBA and college. Now, Mateen didn't do well in the NBA, but he still won that ring and was great for Michigan State. And Jason Richardson, Dick Van Arsdale, I think they both played maybe one season. I don't know. But Walt Bellamy probably wins the center matchup. But overall, I think Michigan State has the better team, led by the best point guard of all time in Magic Johnson. And Michigan State moves on to the finals. Now, this final matchup is loaded with talent. Mike Conley, Magic Johnson. John Havlicek, Mateen Cleaves. Michael Redd, Jason Richardson. Jerry Lucas, Zach Randolph. Greg Oden, Draymond Green. D'Angelo Russell, Cassius Winston. Just great players all around, but I am going to go with Ohio State to win this. It hurts in my heart to say that, but Ohio State, not only did they have great players in the NBA and John Havlicek, Michael Redd, Jerry Lucas, but all 3 of those players played 3 years in college and were great for Ohio State, and that's what really pushes Ohio State over the edge. Magic Johnson played 2 seasons. He was great in both seasons. He got a championship. But just the rest of the team, Jason Richardson, Zach Randolph only played 2 seasons, or 1 season. Draymond Green, I don't know, he's good, but he wasn't, like, amazing in college. He wasn't, like, and he didn't turn out to be some Hall of Famer in the NBA. Cassius Winston, we don't know how he'll be in the NBA. It's just Ohio State, I think, will take this championship. And I think Ohio State is the best all-time team in the Big Ten. I'm not saying they're the best right now. I'm not saying they're even the best college basketball because this is only 6 players. But if we're taking these 6 players, Ohio State is the best all-time team in the Big Ten, in my opinion. Now, comment what you agree or disagree with. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you keep watching more videos. And peace.